After reaching Radiant at 15 and joining a pro team at 16, Canezerra and his oddly aggressive playstyle has spiked the interest of a lot of Valorant players. From what kind of micro decisions Canezerra makes during his fights, to even going over his most common shooting patterns, as Valorant's mechanical coach / analyst Zasko3, I'm going to break down everything I can about Canezerra's gameplay today and ensure that by the end of this video, you'll be able to walk away with plenty of new knowledge about what makes this Prodigy so good. I've also got something very cool to share with you guys, so altogether this is going to be a very exciting video. Starting off on pistol round, this round does start off pretty rough as we're numbers down and need to make some kind of aggressive play. The play that Canezerra has in his mind is taking a committed fight once the smoke drops to catch anyone showers off guard. He pulls it off, and as the fight begins, we notice that Canezerra's shooting style very much resembles that in which we discussed in the Primi bursting video. Basically, he removes any time in between the moment he shoots to the moment where he starts moving again to maximize his mobility, and you can see that he really is able to pull off these very fast strafes. After winning the fight, he's rewarded with an overheal and he's immediately looking to get value out of it. His next fight is in U-Haul, and we can see that this time, instead of being out in the open and relying on his movement like he did in the last fight, he goes for a shot and instantly falls back to cover. This saves him from either being instantly traded by the get-go, as well as opens up possibilities to reposition for the next fight he takes or change the way in which he does re-peek. In this fight, Canezerra goes for the second option. Now that he's tucked behind cover, he's able to re-swing and go wide with the new information that he was able to gain on his prior less committed peek. However, instead of re-swinging in the exact same way twice and just going for two normal standing peeks, he goes for a crouch peek on the second one to break the enemy's crosshair placement. If he was to re-swing this angle in the exact same way twice in a row, he'd be making it extremely easy for the enemy to predict where his head would be, and they would be able to get a very easy angle hold off. With champs around the corner and the addition of the long-awaited replay system, we can expect a large influx of players returning to the game, creating unwanted congestion on the game's network. Luckily for you guys, I have got the solution, and that is Gear Up. Gear Up is a must-have for us gamers as it can drop our local game latency by 20 to 40 ms. Not only that, but Gear Up optimizes your connection for smooth cross-regional play, especially on the EU servers where you can see upwards of 70 to 100 millisecond improvements in your ping. In addition to being great for handling unwanted packet loss, Gear Up is completely safe to use and is even one of the highest ranking products on Trustpilot. I've left the link in the description so you can check them out and enjoy tackling high latency and packet loss issues with ease. Thank you Gear Up for sponsoring today's video, and let's continue on with the VOD review. The round ends with him trying to run down the Reyna, but unfortunately gets caught off guard by the Clove, leading to a bit of a panic spray with the classic. But skipping ahead to our buy round, we start off by playing Fast Rotate. The first peek we take is down long, and it's a simple crouch tap. However, something that I noticed that Canezerra does a lot is after he goes for his original peek, in this case the crouch tap, he ends up abandoning the terrain that he peeks from and he starts to go wide, putting him in a more committed position where he is able to get the kill on the Clove. Now, from him peeking long and trying to take these fights with the crouch peek, we can see how he does like to crouch peek. He doesn't do it Primi style with a really light tap. If he was, it'd be pretty much standing. What he does go for is still the tap where he's preemptively letting go, but he's sinking into it a little more. He's like properly touching the ground. So it's not like a little bobble. It's like a sink in and go for the shot, sink in and go for the shot. He's standing back up before his shot fully connects. So that's why he's not fully committing to the crouch peek. Like it's not a full proper crouch peek, but he's still ducking under the enemy's crosshair. And I think what this allows him to do is duck under the bullet, but then by the time he goes for his shot, he's standing back up and then he's nice and mobile again, right? Primi does this like really quick and he just bobbles it. Canezerra is just a bit more committed. For the third kill, we again opt for a more committed position, taking the duel ahead of the fade instead of peeking off her contact or trying to bait for her so that she can get a kill. This is the common theme that I've already started to pick up on Canezerra. He doesn't respect these players and he doesn't view the committed 1v1 as a bad thing because he has extremely good mechanics. He'll use the terrain to peek initially, but he's then kind of like, I don't need cover, and he just goes out wide, kind of plays an off angle, and just goes for the fight to the death. He's not scared of dying. Anyways, on to round 3, and there's something else that I want to point out to you guys. He's actually going for the exact same opener, playing in the exact same positions, and just like someone like Nats, who has these very set plays that are nice and simple, but he does them so often that he gets extremely familiar with them, duelist players like Canezerra also have the same kind of things mapped out. what positions do they like to play in, what kind of angles do they like to fight, how do they like to take these fights, and then they rep them out over and over and over again in their comp games, becoming more and more familiar with them, and then eventually they don't even have to think about how they handle these situations, which gives them an advantage over someone who does have to think about what they're doing. Someone who does something completely random every single round, and they're trying to piece together what kind of situation they've just put themselves in. Back to this round though, again, we go for a nice clean peek, spot no one, start to go wide, putting ourselves in a much more committed fight once again, but this time we end up completely whiffing. And I guess this is the scary part about what Canezerra does. In these committed fights without an escape, you're not able to reposition and you're not able to fall back if you get swung by multiple people. Canezerra gets very lucky that Raze has their nade out, and for some reason the enemy team doesn't have anyone to swing with her. But realistically, in this situation, this is where Canezerra should have died. However, I wouldn't even say that it's a bad thing if he does die this round, considering the fact that he not only has ult, but he can still smoke after he dies anyways, and that's probably one of the main reasons why Canezerra is so comfortable playing in these situations when he is playing Clove. If we were on any other smokes agents, or we were playing Cypher and had kill trips up, or just any other agent where we want to be alive to get value out of our utility, these kind of plays would be completely troll. Playing less committed positions is definitely a must, and we want to be able to shoot, fall back, and reposition and keep our utility up and functioning. But yeah, again, this is the beauty of Clove. This is why I like Clove. Very fun agent. Who cares? Just go for the shot and die. Now, the first fight we take after Clove ulting is a wide swing, and it's not a pop and swing level wide swing, but the key characteristics of a wide swing are still there. He is aiming before he stops moving, rather than preemptively stopping and then launching his crosshair at the opponent. The final kill on the Clove ends up being a nice pre-aim, and we can see the contrast between his wide swings and his peaks. The following round was just pure animal, and I have no words, so we're going to skip that. And now in this next round, Canezerra is fighting showers instead of playing fast rotate. This is where he showcases his extremely fast reactions. Canezerra is actually at a disadvantage in this fight. He is tracing an angle with angle disadvantage, which means that Raze is going to see him before he sees her. He does win this fight, but it's either because Raze is just much slower than Canezerra and couldn't punish this mistake, or the Raze is making a mistake themselves, which could have been slicing an angle where you should be tracing. And by pre-aiming it, she's putting her crosshair in the wall for no reason at all, and when the enemy does appear on her screen, she has to go for a larger flick than necessary, or she just wasn't prepared for it. I don't know, I can't really justify how this Raze lost the fight, but maybe they just need to work on their reactivity, you know what I mean? But regardless, what we can see here is that you can bend the rules if you're good enough. Let's say that tracing an angle you should pre-aim is hypothetically going to give you a 30% debuff, but then at the same time, having Canezerra level mechs and reactivity is like a 40% buff. Technically, it's still a good play and you're in the positive. However, it doesn't mean that you can't have good peaks with good mechs and combine them to get like a 70% buff. And that's what someone like Primi does, for example. Very good peaks and very good reactivity. And even still, we've been able to see what Canezerra's good peaks look like, and he's able to drop people like flies. The next fight, Kane swings off of the Fade Dog, which is perfecto. However, we can break down a little bit more about how exactly he is fighting. What he's doing is alternating between quick taps of the crouch keys in his strafes and regular strafes, and is prioritizing bullets fired over distance traveled. Basically, he's just rapid fire bursting out bullets and just cares more about one of them landing on the opponent's head rather than trying to dodge a bunch of bullets by strafing across to the left or something like that. Again, I discussed this in more detail in my Primi bursting video because he also does just that. Anyways, the next round we are dead through smoke, and then the following one after that we are pushing down short. The first kill was a little bit scuffed, however it does showcase his insane reactivity. However, the second one is quite reminiscent of the kill on the Gecko in the first pistol round. Peek, get some information, fall back, swing with confidence, and fully commit to a spray. It's not as clean as it could be, but the concept is still there. If you play around terrain and then re-swing with some kind of differing peak, you're going to give yourself an advantage in that fight, and you're going to be much more comfortable when you take it. If you know someone's there when you wide swing, no biggie. But if you don't know someone's there and you go for the wide swing, you're going to panic because you didn't expect them to be there because you didn't have information prior. Some safe ways to get information before wide swing is going for normal peaks to begin with. Seeing someone going for the shot, you're either going to get it or you're going to miss, and then you can just go wide and get the kill. Number 2 is just like jump peeking, seeing the enemy and then just going wide. Maybe go for a normal jiggle peek, get close, go wide, use some util. Oh, there's someone there, get close, go wide. If they make noise and you don't think they know where you are, get close, go wide. If you've got a teammate behind you and they're slicing their angles one by one off their contact, get close, go wide. Yeah, that's basically it. In the next fight that he takes, the information that he got was the opponent shooting, and off that, he just instantly goes wide and commits to a spray. He then has to pop ult because he gets traded. However, he sees the Cypher's position on his way back to cover, which is again some information that he can just go wide off, commit to a spray, and get the kill. I must emphasize though, wide swinging randomly without any util, any information, or any setup is just kind of trolling, and as much as people watch Canezerra and think, oh, I can do that, and then they just run it down in their ranked games, there are very specific cues that he is reacting to every time he does go wide. So make sure you're putting some thought into it and you're not just being a monkey in your comp games. Next round, we die to a very ballsy swing by the enemy Clove. The following round I really like though, and it showcases his ability to contact space when he needs to. As he walks up to showers, he goes for his first peek, and notice again that he's completely sinking into the crouch. This again means that if the enemy was there, he would have only let go of the crouch key after they were dead. Something again that we saw in the third round back when we were peeking into the raise. The next thing that we see is that after getting this angle hold here, he ends up moving to a really tight, like pixel gap kind of position here. And the reason why this works is because he doesn't hear any sounds from the enemies, and this indicates that the person that could be here isn't going to be running out. They're going to be contacting space and clearing their angles one by one. Taking a look at the enemy's perspective, this person here is just going to be clearing their angles one by one. What does that mean? It means that they're going to be further back away from the wall, right? They're not going to be close, because if they were to be close, they're going to peek one angle and expose themselves to multiple others. They're going to preemptively stop, like I was saying. They're going to peek, stop, peek, stop, peek, stop, peek, stop. And well, that means that if we were to hold, right, a nice pixel angle, they're going to hug the back wall and be right in line with where we're aiming here. And they're going to peek and they're going to stop right in our crosshair. So we could just shoot and get away. Happy days, right? If he was hearing 3 other people running it down showers, right? This isn't going to do anything, because these people, they're not going to be hugging the back wall. They're just going to run out and they're just going to swing, right? And this person here is going to be well and truly past the point at which we're aiming. We're going to see them, we're going to miss the shot, and we're just going to have to back away anyways. We're not going to get any value. At that point, we might as well just hold a little bit wider, they swing, we shoot, and then we fall back, right? Holding the wides in the right time, holding the close in the close time, bang, bang. He knows what he's doing, basically. Anyways, this round was won with a nice wall bang on the retake, and the next round starts off with a wrap around showers. And well, all I've got to say about this fight is that the enemy Clove definitely needs my angle holding guide. And if you guys haven't watched that, go check that out, alright? Very good guide to talk about everything you need to know about angle holding. Realistically, Kane gambled that no one was going to be here, and he peaked this horribly. But reactivity means you can handle these situations very well, and against a player like this, you're still going to be able to get away with a lot of things that you probably shouldn't. Even though Canezerra wasn't prepared at all, he sees the target, he goes straight to the target, and he clicks on the head. And because of his good reflex and reactivity skills, it's no biggie, he still gets the kill anyways. You can literally hear him laughing on his way back to showers because of how dumb that fight was. He should have died. Now, Kane gets close to winning the retake on this round. However, the enemy Cypher conditions him very well using some of the tech that we've already discussed in this video. You can see that Canezerra sees him peek standing up and expects the repeak to also be a standing peek. Cypher shoots, falls back to cover like we discussed in the first round. He uses the terrain to give himself an advantage, and then eventually the Cypher just repeaks, completely sinks into the crouch, completely baiting Kane into unloading his mag above his head, and bang, the Cypher absolutely shits on him and basically never peek the same angle in the same way twice, and you'll beat the rank 1 player. Simple as that. Let's go, Cypher. The final round of defense half showcases why information before crouching is very important. As you can see, he just swings, crouch sprays, and ends up getting destroyed. However, at the same time, it also showcases why Clove players are such animals, because there's no punishment for this. He just pops ult and yeah, he's able to win the round. So yeah, happy days. That there is Canezerra's defense. I hope you enjoyed. I'm not here to coach him. He's a lot better than me. So we're just analyzing. We're taking what we can from it, and I hope you're able to learn some things. If you guys want a part 2, we can look at his attack half, or we can look at any other player that you want, or we can just never do one of these again. You guys tell me, what do you want to see? I'll make it. Happy days. Also, don't forget to check out Gear Up down in the description. If you've got any other gaming tools that you guys recommend, feel free to share it in the comments. Take care, everybody. Love you all. Bye bye.